I'm Steve Lascalzo, and this is The Way. Thank you for listening to the June 2025 This is The Way podcast Star Wars News Update. Since Andor's finale, the production design team has been revealing Easter eggs through articles on StarWars.com. One of the ones that caught my eye involved Emperor Palpatine's robes and ties to Gorman. Since the second season of Andor introduced just how prized that fabric spun by Gorlectopods and then woven by the Gorman people was, it's only fitting then that Palpatine would want maximum comfort. I don't consider it a retcon, but Tony Gilroy was informed that since the show set up this fancy fabric in live action, it is now canon that the robes we see Palpatine wear once he has to hide his face are in fact made of Gorman twill. Is that irony? I don't know, but it fits, right? It's time for me to report Star Wars news released since our last news update podcast. Mia Goth will be joining the upcoming Star Wars Starfighter movie, and she's going to play a villain opposite Ryan Gosling. There was also a detail revealed about the plot of the movie. Gosling's character is trying to protect his nephew from evil pursuers. We don't know why, but we'll find out more, I guess, as the movie gets closer. Goth is going to play one of those pursuing Gosling's on-screen relative, according to an article by The Hollywood Reporter. She's also set to appear in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which debuts next July in 2026, which could help raise her star profile, her Q rating, or whatever you want to call it, ahead of Starfighter, which isn't expected until May of 2027. Now, her roles in the past have been morally questionable, and normally I'd support such a statement with listing those movies, but I'm going to let you look up her IMDb page and decide for yourself. There is a rumor going around that several news aggregator sites have been circulating, and it's that the Daisy Ridley-led, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy-directed New Jedi Order movie is being put on hold. That's because they're going to advance the Dawn of the Jedi movie from James Mangold, and then the just mentioned Ryan Gosling starring and Sean Levy directed Starfighter movie. I absolutely think the Starfighter movie makes more sense with the large audience that Ryan Gosling could get opening weekend, but the Mangold movie, to me, is more risky than a Rey-centered movie, so I would put the Rey movie second. I do think switching directors to a bigger name, though, and one less concerned with gender politics would be better for the New Jedi Order movie, but even the rumors make sure to point out that the movie's not being canceled, it's just being put on hold.
Rumors spread quickly these days.
The actress who portrays Ahsoka's Shin Hati in that series gave a very brief and very general idea of where her character will be going in Season 2, since the show's shooting right now, and she was only away for press in her role in Megan 2.0. All Ivana Sakno could tell Games Radar was that it's going to be bigger and even more in-depth. But her character had split from her mentor, Baylan Skoll, at the end of Season 1.
I thought you were to honor your agreement.
Rory McCann will take over that role, of course, for Season 2, but his character was seeking out the godlike Mortis trio of father, son, and daughter, while Saknos decided to abandon that quest in favor of leading the brigands native to Peridia. Dave Filoni is writing the entire season and considers Ahsoka to be his creation, so whatever he has in store, Shin Hati will only serve as a conduit to tell her story. It's also worth noting that we don't know a lot about the character from Season 1, so bigger and more in-depth for Shin Hati is almost a given.
Do you miss it? The Order.
Now that even our coverage of Andor's second season is behind us, the critical acclaim is leading to cast and crew taking victory laps in the press whenever they can. One of the writers, Bo Williman, talked to IndieWire about things like the historical references of the show, but Tony Gilroy had pretty much already done all that. One thing that Williman was responsible for writing was Episode 5 of Season 2, and that means he's the guy who wrote the head-scratching Rhydonium "Let It Run Wild" speech by Saw Gerrera. It would seem, from his own mouth, that there wasn't any hidden meaning behind that speech. The purpose was just what it seemed on the surface. Show Saw is crazy. In Williman's own words from the article, you don't start out saying, okay, we're going to have a big speech for Saw Gerrera where he sort of outlines his thesis and his motivation, and that we try to do something impactful that will blow a lot of people's minds. We wanted to show how the formation of the rebellion is a spectrum, how these things coexist. Whatever nobility and pomp and circumstance there is in the Senate, on the other end of the spectrum is the madness that is Saw Gerrera. We all share this insanity of wanting to change the galaxy and fight the powers that be. It connects us. Even a guy who most of the time is like, I don't want to have anything to do with anyone else. Okay, this is me speaking again. Many people I've talked to said this was the strangest aspect of the show. But it turns out that that's what he wanted. So, Williman succeeded in failing to entertain a large portion of the audience. As I said late in the show's coverage, it was made clear that Luthen, and not Saw, was the mentor for Williman. So these scenes involving the actual stealing of the Rhydonium, though they were completely unnecessary. And to most viewers, just showing them kill Pluti and taking Will would have been more efficient and would have told the story better than having this weird speech.
You think I'm crazy? Yes, I am.
If you've ever wanted to take a look at the relationship between planets and where they fall in a galaxy far, far away, the official StarWars.com website finally has an official galactic map and a link to an accompanying PDF file. It's got every star system in the galaxy in alphabetic order with sector, region, and grid number for your own research. Previously, people have had to rely on unofficial means and an old Star Wars Legends era map, the latest coming in 2009 in the Essential Atlas. Now it's online, official, and ready to settle debates. It's at the official Star Wars website, starwars.com/stars-wars-galaxy-map.
Does this narrow it down?
Oh, yes. Only 10,000 worlds.
Star Wars gamers. Epic Games' Fortnite Star Wars content adventure ended in early June. The game does routinely bring back previously free-to-earn content in the store for a premium price, so if you were not able to achieve all the Premium Pass content, keep an eye on the stores. You may be able to pick up a piece or two that you missed. In the Battle Royale sections of the game, that content is purely cosmetic. It does not alter your gameplay at all. In other game modes, there may be exclusives, like in the Lego sections, you can build buildings, furniture, craftable vehicles, but only if you've unlocked it via achieving a level with a premium pass or purchasing through the game store. There are other games too. The Dead by Daylight series, their development team says they've had discussions with Disney adding Darth Vader as a playable killer. Now, these are just discussions, so don't get too excited, but if you're not familiar with the game, you and several friends can play a game where you're in a restricted maze-like area and you're trying to avoid capture by a killer. It's a horror genre game, so this doesn't appeal to me, but it does seem to be a streaming favorite for streaming collaborations. I've seen it on Twitch before, so the real question for me would be, does the environment match? Instead of graveyards, is it themed for like the Death Star or Star Destroyer? If you're going to do Vader, why not also do Palpatine? And why not Maul? Or why not any Force-sensitive villain in that case?
As you see, my Jedi powers are far beyond yours.
There is a board gaming note this month. Last April, 2024, there was the announcement of the Mandalorian Adventures board game, and now the card-based action game has an expansion, Clan of Two. Adding the new elements to the Corey Konietzko design game gives new player characters like Fennec Shand and Ahsoka Tano, and a new playable boss, the Krayt Dragon. The expansion seems to be based on Season 2 of the Disney Plus series, and I was not able to confirm if Luke Skywalker makes an appearance on Moff Gideon's bridge. Sorry. All I could find was Din Djarin, Grogu, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, 4 new maps, 110 cards, 137 tokens, and new standees. It's also the only game expansion that I mentioned today that is currently available to purchase.
Very well.
Also at this year's UK Games Expo was an expansion for the miniatures game Shatterpoint. That game is more than 2 years old and focused on the Clone Wars era, and by adding the expansion Terror from Below, you get the Carcharodons. They were a separatist-aligned race in the Invasion of Mon Cala arc of the Clone Wars animated series. There's Riff Tamsin, tasked by Count Dooku for assassinations and instigation of civil war. Nasor Ree, the Quarren chieftain that starts out with the Separatists and then eventually sides with the Republic in Mon Calamari, and Separatist Aqua Droid miniatures. It also comes with terrain kits and mission boxes.
Okay, then.
Finally, Star Wars Unlimited has Legends of the Force coming. It's a trading card game, and though it was announced in May of 2023, they're just now getting around to including Force mechanics. Now, I don't mean characters that can use it, but StarWarsNews.net says it greatly expands upon the repertoire of light side and dark side abilities by introducing a Force mechanic to the game, which leans into elements popular with card collectors like deck building. Players will have to economize which abilities they want to use most, and then strategize how to make use of them in competitive rounds. The expansion also features more missions representing The Mandalorian, which players criticized earlier releases for due to a lack of missions, along with a dual deck system that makes gameplay more challenging. So this is back to me speaking, and it's a deck building game like Magic the Gathering, I guess. I have not played it, but I'll be honest, I would collect the cards.
It's a treasure for the true aficionado.
Speaking of collectibles, I took a look at the Hasbro Pulse store online and saw a few new offerings, and as I have before, I'm going to start with the ones that are already sold out. A Black Series Jedi Temple Guard and Barriss Offee sold separately. Both are already out of stock, according to the Pulse website. Both were offered for $24.99, but unless they refresh their stock, which they don't usually, you'll have to look for resellers, and you will expect to pay much, much more. There is a Black Series edition of the Ronin from Star Wars Visions that is not in monotone color and available for pre-order. Likewise, it's listed for $24.99, comes with a red-bladed lightsaber. The only accessory listed is one that allows dynamic posing on shelves. You didn't ask, but this is a pass from me. If you're a comic book fan, Sergeant Creel is now available. This is a comic series undercover agent in the service of Darth Vader, and it comes with a green lightsaber and blaster accessory. I don't know who this character is, and I don't consider it canon because of that, but it does look cool. It's $25 and in pre-order on the Pulse website with a shipping date of November 1st. The only other Black Series figure I saw was an Ahsoka Tano Padawan version, also for $25, also shipping this November. The only two accessories are her two lightsabers, and she's in her maroon clothing with her green lightsabers from the bulk of the animated series. If you're a huge Ahsoka fan, you might pick one up, but there's not much special about it. There are two Vintage Collection editions to the site as well, both in pre-order. A Vintage Collection 4-pack of Snowtroopers from The Empire Strikes Back. The figures have removable backpacks, and the set comes with 4 blaster and 2 heavy blaster accessories. It's a closed box, and these are the 3 3/4 inch scale with the hoods over the helmet seen in the Imperial Ground Assault on Hoth. It ships September 1st for $55. But the one that caught my eye is the Vintage Collection Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, on pre-order, shipping November 1st. There's a limit of 3 per customer, maybe to slow down resellers, but this is the 3 3/4 inch scale one that comes with a Darth Vader figure that has a set of alternate hands, an unlit lightsaber hilt, and his signature red lightsaber. The TIE Advanced also comes with an interchangeable damaged wing panel in case you want to use your Millennium Falcon that you've got set up to save Luke on the trench run. Good news. Delivery is free if you're a Pulse Premium member at Hasbro or for orders over $75. So at $140, you're just paying tax and not shipping on the Vintage Collection Darth Vader's TIE Advance.
Just one more thing.
And it's time for Disney Parks news, and I have to admit, news is sparse this month, so I'm sharing something I saw on WDW News today. The Armorer's helmet was spotted on sale at Disney Springs, and at the time it was observed, there was an example display. It's a Black Series Hasbro edition modeled after the character on The Mandalorian, and it is wearable. This was a piece you could already buy online at the Disney Store during the May the 4th collection sales. The website describes it as inspired by the mysterious character who forges Beskar armor in the ancient tradition of the Mandalorians. This premium electronic helmet is a detailed replica of the one she wears. The display looked flimsy even in pictures. The pictures accompanying the article on the WDW News website showed the visor plastic was very thin. The description mentioned gold-tinted plastic with a weathered look. It is one of the electronic versions of the helmet, so it has interior lights that automatically turn on when the helmet's flipped upside down. There's a button to make the sounds last longer, and the lights last longer. Batteries are not included, but if you've seen or have the Moff Gideon helmet, the article suggests it's the same style. I'm not looking to add it, but if you want to send it my way, I'll put it on my shelf. The Armor electronic helmet by Hasbro retails for $105.
I think we can let him off with the warning this time.
Thank you for listening, and if you think I've missed something or disagree with me, send email to thisisthewaypodcast@gmail.com. How else can you interact with This Is The Way Podcast? Well, X, Facebook, Instagram, all at This Is The Way Pod, and we have a Discord page now, so you'll have to search for This Is The Way Podcast on Discord, or check out some of our other social media sites, and maybe we'll have a link for you there soon. Thank you so much for joining me for This Is The Way Podcast's June 2025 News Update episode. Thanks again for being part of This Is The Way Podcast's audience. I'm your host, Steve Loscalzo, and may the Force be with you always.